the papers. Most of them have been, they are quite excited, especially after this webinar being following the visit of the Honorable Foreign Secretary of India. So additional curiosity has been, I would say, aroused by the timing of this. So we will be trying to limit our opinions, deliberations to maximum of 5 minutes because I will have to close it at 4 o'clock. Dr. Pramesh, is Honorable HC there? I want to start with the minister's comment. Another 2 more minutes. Dr. Pramesh, are you there? Nihat, yes. Nihat, Nihat, your opening batsman.
Sorry?
Yes. I will give you the floor first.
Isn't Fahim speaking before me?
Eh?
Isn't Fahim speaking before me?
No. It is our webinar. So Fahim will speak later on. Okay, so we'll have to corner him first now to give us all the yeses. So to me, you'll be raising some of the issues, whatever you want, and we'll carry on from there. So we are almost at 3. If our Excellency Riva Ganguly is there.
She's just joining in. Just give us 1 minute. She's just coming.
Okay, done.
I've already called. Just 1 minute.
Okay, organizers, আমাদের স্পিকারদেরকে ফেসে রাখো আমার এতে, এন্ড যারাই কথা বলবে তাদের যাতে ভেসে ওঠে পিকচারটা। Organizers, please help me. It's 3 o'clock now. Dr. Parmesh, as soon as you say the Excellency is there, we'll start.
Just yeah.
Yeah. Fine, good, welcome. Welcome. তোমাকে লাস্টের দিকে
আসসালামু আলাইকুম মাকতুব ভাই।
ওয়া আলাইকুম আসসালাম।
জি
তোমাকে
দিয়ে নিন আপনি, আরো ভালো হয়।
জমায় প্রশ্নগুলো করে তারপর তোমার থেকে সব উত্তর নিতে হবে।
আপনি সব প্রশ্ন রেডি করে আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করেন, আমি তারপর সব আপনার কাছে ডাইরেক্ট করে দিব যে মাতুব ভাই সব বলবে।
আমি তো
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। তুমি কোন জায়গায় যে তোমার এরকম নাক ডাকতে হচ্ছে?
আমি এখন মতিঝিলে।
ঠিক আছে, একই ডাক। জনের মধ্যে আছে।
Okay, Dr. Parmesh.
Assalamu alaikum.
You want to start now?
Alaikum salam.
Matlu bhai, we can start.
Okay.
Fine bhai, assalamu alaikum. Matlu bhai, assalamu alaikum.
সবাইকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, press and media. Assalamu alaikum. Today, the country is facing a crisis of COVID-19. Yet, Bangladesh has transferred this crisis into an opportunity. We are today discussing connectivity for growth, prosperity, and development. We are absolutely delighted to have amongst us eminent speakers from various parts of our countries. We have Chamber of Commerce leaders here. We have the Honorable High Commissioner here, Ms. Riva Ganguly ji. And we have think tanks out here to pull us through. The topic today is connectivity linked to growth, prosperity, and development. Why have we termed growth? And how is connectivity linked to growth? Today we'll be listening to our speakers here. And if you look at the history, if you look at the British Empire, which covered the entire globe, at that time, it were the ships, the warship, the commerce ships, which actually led to this huge expansion of the country, which transformed itself into an empire. And that was the sea, which was the connectivity. If you look around the Second World War, it was the Autobahn of Germany. Again, the roads, which were the connectivity. If you look at USA, growth was the railroads. It's through the railroad they advanced and they made the big USA today. If you now look at the whole world, it's the digital connectivity. So connectivity means not only what we see physically, it also means that the digital connectivity is important. We thank to the leaderships of Bangladesh and also India that the digital connectivity has also been given huge stress for the growth part. Now with the connectivity, with the growth in, what do we have? We have a development. We have bigger transactions between the countries. We have larger employment and we have faster modernization. And along with the development comes the prosperity. We have rich nations and national groups. We have in turn companies paying larger revenues, which spurs more growth of the country. And of course, it employs millions. So this is what brings us to the topic. And we have extremely known faces in front of us. I'll mention a few only because as we move along, I'll have to make it more enjoyable for the people who are looking at us. We have our honorable chief guest, or I would say the chief speaker here, His Excellency Tipu Munshi, MPG, with our honorable Minister for Commerce. He himself is a forward-looking businessman. He is someone who believes in regional connectivity and cooperation. When we went to Assam and he led the delegation, he was the star there. We could see in him the suggestions that he was giving to the Assamese and the Bengalis present there. And we have with us Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, who has excelled in the growth of Indo-Bangla relationship. What we all Chamber of Commerce of both the nations could not achieve in 30 years.
তার দুর্দশা যেন কাটছেই না। করোনার ধাক্কা সামলে ওঠার আগেই বন্যার পানিতে ভেসে গেছে খামার। জেলায় শঙ্কার মুখে আছে এমন।
এটা কি দিল আবার? Okay, sorry, Excellency, I'm sorry. Who has excelled in the growth of Indo-Bangla relationship. What we all the Chamber of Commerce could not do in 30 years. Because I remember asking for the Benapole railway station to be opened in 90s. And she could do it in 30 days. And that too in the coronavirus time. Thank you, Rivaji. Thank you for opening new connectivity for us. And I normally come as a lady with a magic wand. Whatever she touches, inshallah, she gets it done. We have Sheikh Fazle Fahim, the president of FBCCI, the youngest president in the history of FBCCI. And he is the champion fighter for business continuity during the COVID. He's the one who is fighting. Even today, he's in the office. He's fighting for us, trying to help save the businesses. And he is the main, I would say, the contact between the government and the private sector. Thank you, Fahim. We will now move into the rest of the theme. As we move along, I'll be introducing all of them, but we have Mansoor Mohammed, we have Ms. Nihat Kabir, we have Mahbubul Alam, and we have Nurul Alam, member BIWTA. Nihat Kabir is President MCCI, Mahbubul Alam is President Chittagong Chamber, and Nurul Alam, member BIWTA. Friends, let us now hear from our esteemed speakers. We will limit our deliberations to max of 5 minutes in the interest of the time, because I would close it at 4 o'clock. And any of the people who are seeing this has any question, we have in our banner the SMS numbers, so they can SMS there, it will relate to me, and then I can raise it. Thank you very much. We now request Ms. Nihat Kabir, Honorable President of MCCI, to say a few words to us. Thank you, Nihat. Speaker, শুনতে পাচ্ছি না। Nihat, speaker. Hey, Nihat, খুলে দাও। Okay.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to you all. His Excellency, Honorable Commerce Minister, Her Excellency, the High Commissioner, and all our esteemed guests. It's indeed a privilege to be here among all of you. And as Matubhai said, most of you are very known faces. There's really nothing to be said about the magnitude of the historical relationship of our two countries. Suffice it to say that it is an almost immutable truth that our connectivity for growth, for prosperity and development, it is a given. So without going into the background of the many issues we deal with on a day-to-day basis among our countries, and particularly in the field of trade and commerce, which is my industry, which is my area, I would, and most of you know much more about that than I do. I would just like to make a few points very succinctly. I think all of us, if not all, at least most of us present here still have family roots on either side of the border, whichever country we come from. I still have very close relatives in India and feel most at home there outside my own country, which is how it should be. But yet some belligerent utterances in the last few months, although politically expedient for local politicians, have perhaps hurt our feelings somewhat. The last couple of years have not set a very happy tone at all levels, although at the highest political and personal levels, our relationship has seldom been stronger. And I have no hesitation in saying that at all. Now, business-wise, I have mentioned before that we would like to see Bangladeshis able to register companies in India with as much ease and facility as is the case the other way around. The Honorable High Commissioner mentioned in the last meeting that I had the privilege of being with her, that there are many Indian companies operating in Bangladesh, and we know them. Excellent companies who are doing very well here. We would like to see the reverse, the obverse also. I would like to see, for example, Nitol Niloy India Limited working in India. I think you lead us. India leads us in the ease of doing business rankings by quite a large margin, and I think we can try and benefit from that. I just to make a point, although it really perhaps doesn't need to be made, but I will make it that we are not in capital with a capital N, capital O, and a capital T. We are not the other half of any other country. and we would wish to be treated like what we are, which is your most trusted friend and ally in the region. Now, connectivity is not just about hard infrastructure, and I have Mahbooba is here, Fahim is here, they will probably talk about the hard infrastructure. My suggestion would be that connect our young people for a future mutual goodwill. Education is very important. A lot of our students go to India, and students come here from India also, but my interest would be in your centers of excellence, the IITs, the IIMs, collaborating with our similar institutions in Bangladesh to help us to grow and meet the demand for skills that is going to be most important in the next 10 to 15 years. On another point, when we had been to Guwahati, we were told that there was a flight at one point between Dhaka and Guwahati, but that has been discontinued. I would suggest that, I've heard that for medical tourism, as we call it, hardly tourism, direct flights from Dhaka and Chennai are being organized. I would also suggest direct flights to Bagdogra and to Jaipur. Jaipur, of course, because of Ajmer and because our children also go to the schools, the very famous schools there, to Mayo and Maharani Gayatri Devi and many other institutions like that. Likewise, with Bagdogra, a lot of our students and tourists go in that direction, but by road, which creates quite a bit of delay and problems. One thing that is of great interest to me is containerized cargo transport by railway from Bangladesh to the deep sea ports in the west of India, which would give us easier and quicker access to Europe. As we have the pleasure and privilege of giving to you, to your own northern states in India. Railway connections, I believe, it's my favorite mode of transport, and I believe that it is railway connections are the way for our future connectivity, maybe more so than roads. Include other neighbors in the network, like Nepal, Bhutan. We can really be the regional powerhouse we would want to be economically and socially. India's railways are the stuff of legend, and let us share in that history and that story. As Matlupa has said, European countries have fought 2 world wars, yet there is end-to-end connectivity through customs union and mostly travelers visa-free. With great rail, road, and river connections, we 2 countries who have never fought with each other, and there's no question of ever having fought with each other. We are each other's most closest and trusted neighbors. Of course, we can do that. And we have the intentions, we need the execution. Fast and effective execution. The COVID situation has caused harm to our economy, definitely. And this is the time I now think that it is up to us on both sides, and Honorable Minister Sir, particularly on our side, to expedite the use of the funds in the 3 lines of credit that India have given us. After the first line of credit, I think the disbursements or the commitments in the second and the third line are rather slow. I was reading an article on that in the Daily Star a couple of days ago. The figures were not encouraging. I think we can do much better than that. And at this particular time, when we do need funds for our development, and COVID has slowed our economy down somewhat, this is the ideal time for doing that. I would just like to address the Honorable Her Excellency, the High Commissioner. As a citizen of Bangladesh, I would just like to say that India, as Bangladesh's closest and oldest friend and neighbor, would and should be proud of Bangladesh's self-confidence in the international and regional arena. Because in its own way, it is a reflection of the nurturing and support we have received from you over the decades. But at the age of almost 50, we will be 50 next year, we will venture out on our own a bit, maybe sometimes a lot. That ought not to, and that will not be what defines our abiding trust and relationship, in our relationship. And I think we need to remember that. I would like to end with extending through through Her Excellency, the High Commissioner, prayers for the well-being of Shri Pranab Mukherjee. a great statesman and a great friend to Bangladesh, and may Allah grant him ease and recovery from illness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Niyatji. She is a very able president of the Metropolitan Chamber, strong voice amongst the business houses. Thank you for your deliberations. I would now request Mr. Nurul Alam, Member Finance, Bangladesh Inland Water Transport Authority, who are one of the part of the connectivity issues that has come. Nurul Alam bhai, it's your floor now. Unmute kore bolen.
Honorable Chief Guest of this webinar on connectivity for growth, prosperity and development, His Excellency Mr. Tipu Munshi, Honorable Minister of Commerce, People's Republic of Bangladesh, a special guest, Her Excellency Srimati Riva Ganguly Das, High Commission of India, Honorable IBCCI President Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmed, all other honorable participants, ladies and gentlemen. First, you all have a good afternoon. Today, I am very glad to be here to say a few words on this issue as a guest speaker. India is a very close country to Bangladesh in respect of friendship and connectivity. We have a long history of friendship since our great independence war at 1971. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh is a riverine country. You know, the rivers of Bangladesh are linked with the neighboring regional countries. So the geographical location of Bangladesh for inland waterways transportation has got a unique strategic advantage. You know, out of 57 existing rivers in Bangladesh, 53 are originated from India. So by sharing of common water and waterways, both Bangladesh and India can be benefited regarding economical, commercial and environmental purposes. We have signed a protocol in 1972 on PIWTT between Bangladesh and India for the utilization of the waterways for trade and commerce. And since then, the activities of protocol has been continuing without any interruption. As for example, the volume of inter-country trade cargo and number of vessels carried under the protocol during 2019 and 20 was about 2.8 million metric ton and 400 respectively, which compared to 1.5 million ton and 200 numbers during the year 2011 and 12. Recently, 2 new routes, Daud-Kandi-Sonamura and vice versa route, and 5 new ports of call on each side are included in the PIWTT. And another route, namely Dhulian, Godagori, Rajshahi, which are 5 and 6 number route, has already been extended up to Aricha, so that the protocol routes are now integrated with the other routes. The regional transport connectivity can provide the benefits to the concerned countries in many ways, such as it saves transportation cost, it extends bilateral trades, it reduces damage, accident and pilferages, it expands domestic trade and commerce, it increases income due to the development of port-related industries, it generates more employment opportunity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is proven that the cross-boundary water region is mutually beneficial to each connected country. So it is essential to develop an effective regional inland water transport system. We have some advantage of inland navigation over the other modes of transport such as road and rail. The advantages are the saturated capacity of the existing road and railway cannot further accommodate transit or cross-border trade goods. The inviable IWT network in Bangladesh can solve this problem with comparatively low investment. Number 2, water is always environment friendly and it is cheap as well. And number 3, since both Bangladesh and India are a over-densely populated country, use of waterways needs no land. For your kind information, we're facing some challenges regarding navigability. We are conducting dredging work along the Sirajganj, Doikhawa, and Ashuganj, Jokiganj route with the collaboration of India on 80-20 basis. Now we should take care of the following core issues. The issues are, due to the unpredictable behavior of Jamuna River, the navigation channel for Sirajganj Doikha route shifted rapidly due to siltation over the years. It's a big challenge to maintain the navigability of the channel. To solve this issue, the proposal came from the both sides to conduct a maintenance dredging with 25-meter width and 2.5-meter depth throughout the year. On this regard, we get some hope from the World Bank that a pilot project for effective channelizing the Jamuna River by shortening the width from 10 to 15 kilometers to 4 to 5 kilometers with a length of around 60 kilometers near the Indian border, including bank stabilization and the other necessary navigational components, is going to be jointly implemented by the Ministry of Water Resources and the Ministry of Shipping as well. So Sirajganj Doikha channel can get a big advantage from this upcoming World Bank project. Number two, it's time to figure out the most efficient economic transport chain. That means we have to build effective connection among the different modes of transport for door-to-door transport services. We can undertake some joint research for a more effective IWT system network in the following areas: a comprehensive digital survey of all routes and electronic dissemination of navigational information, including data and charts, which may reduce the requirements of pilots. We should focus on the efficiency of the vessels. We need a joint effort for human resource development in the IWT sector, and we can modernize the loading, unloading facilities with setting appropriate machineries. From the above discussion, we can say we should cooperate each other, especially Bangladesh and India. We can cooperate each other to build a more effective IWT network system. With these few words, I'd like to conclude my speech. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noran Bhai. For everybody's information, I got a call from Tripura today, and they are saying that the first consignment of premier cement of 50 to 100 tons in the new IWT, the new routes, they will be getting their first consignment anytime in the near future. So they are already on the job.
Yeah.
That's a very good sign, a very good thing.
Great achievement.
Yes. Thanks to all the stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would request I would say for business, the strongest chamber of commerce and the gateway of Bangladesh is Chittagong. And the Chittagong Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Mahbubul Alam, President, a strong guy there, protecting the interests of the business people, improving the port. He's member of almost many organizations, especially in the development process. I would request Mahbubul Alam, who also was part of this consignments by the coastal shipping. Mahbub bhai, please, the floor is yours. Please unmute. আনমিউট করে কথা বলতে হবে, মাহবুব ভাই শুনতে পাচ্ছেন আমরা। মাহবুব ভাই প্লিজ আনমিউট। হ্যাঁ
এখন
ওকে
you hearing me, Masood bhai?
ওকে প্লিজ
Okay, thank you for my president to give me a floor. Now the president of India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, the former minister of present here, Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, High Commissioner of India, President to speak in an important webinar on connectivity for growth, prosperity, and development of India High Commission and India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I like to thank the organizer inviting me as a speaker. Actually, what is connectivity? Connectivity is the basic thing to develop growth, prosperity, and development. Without connectivity, everything is actually zero. So I shall have to find 5 points, not more than 5 points. Number one, the two neighboring countries are just like one part having road, rail, and water connectivity. So these multimodal facilities in connectivity have been tremendously supporting bilateral trade. Though India is the largest trading partner of Bangladesh in South Asia, still we have huge opportunity to enhance the volume of economic cooperation more and more. Number two, transportation of waterways is a very cost-effective mode in Bangladesh. Example, one barge can contain 1,500 tons goods which need trucks to carry by road. So it is better to use barge than using trucks. There is no involvement of people in carrying goods through waterways. On the other hand, 150 trucks need drivers, helper, and labor to load and unload goods. But in case of barge, loading and unloading is done by machine. It can be a good option to import goods by number three. India, Bangladesh goods from India like raw materials for cement, steel, and other industries. From India, they can be brought to these seaports and then can be transported to all over Bangladesh. At present, only few items are imported through seaport, which need to be increased. Number four, transportation of goods through railway will be a good option for our bilateral trade. So far, you know, both the governments are interested to accelerate railway transportation, which can be expedited as these can reduce cost of transportation and make the process more hassle and easier. We like to thank Indian government for providing Bangladesh 10 broad gauge locomotive engines for transporting goods and passengers between the two countries. Number five, to facilitate bilateral trade, we need to open all the land customs stations in India-Bangladesh border to accelerate transportation of goods by road, of expanding bilateral trade in this situation. We can form a joint task force for custom formalities at the land port station to facilitate release of goods on urgent basis. I think due to pandemic situation, it is more important to do such a thing. Therefore, in connectivity improves, it will help in growth, prosperity, and development of both the economy. Development can help to grow GDP for both India and Bangladesh, generate employment to reduce poverty, and produce substitute items, import dependency on other countries. I must thank Honorable Minister Her Excellency River Ganguly, the
Noise পাচ্ছি না। Are you okay, done? Are you done?
Done.
Okay. Thank you.
Done.
Thank you, President
Done.
Chittagong Chamber. Thank you very much. I was expecting Dr. Hassan H. Mansoor, but it seems he is stuck up somewhere. He had confirmed it. Now we are late with the 3 star players. we have our Chief Patron, Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, we have Honorable Minister, and we have Sheikh Fahim, the Honorable President of FBCCI. So I would like to do a shuffling here. I would request our Chief Patron to say few words, and I want Fahim to confirm whatever she guides us. As the Chief of Business Community, you have to implement the concepts and ideas being generated by our Honorable High Commissioner. So I would request the lady with the magic wand, our Honorable High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, to kindly give her remarks. And the last three don't have any time limit of 5 minutes, but I would request you to do it within 7 to 8 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, Excellency.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. Honorable Minister of Commerce, Government of Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Tipu Munshi, Abdul Matlub Ahmed, President, India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, presidents of several other chambers have joined today, and there must be many distinguished business and industry representatives, speakers, guests, very warm. I'm absolutely delighted to join this webinar. Let me first congratulate IBCCI for organizing this initiative. We have done several in the last few months. Due to COVID, we've not been able to meet physically. But I really find that, we've exchanged much more views than we would have done, perhaps, because when we try to actually do meetings, we are always struggling with our schedules and timings and this and that. In a sense, webinar has made it easier, and I hope this sort of intensive interaction that we have had with the chambers, we can continue to do this. Matlub Bhai, you've given me a lot of credit, which I don't think I really deserve. The credit is fully shared by His Excellency Mr. Tipu Munshi, who was in touch with me constantly through the first few weeks of the COVID. And I've had the privilege to work very closely with him, with the Ministry of Railways, with NBR, with Shipping Ministry, so that we could keep the supply lines open. And so this has really, I would say that it has been that we've received outstanding collaboration from every wing of the government of Bangladesh, which has made this happen. As you all know, under the visionary leadership of our two Prime Ministers, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, our bilateral relation has transformed under the India's Neighborhood First policy. We see the India-Bangladesh relationship as a role model of good neighborly relations and a top priority to it. I think there's an somebody has probably has two machines on. Mr. Aziz, my screen is showing MA is having a microphone on. You could please switch it on. Mr. Aziz, MA Aziz.
Shower microphone off rakho.
Mr. MA Aziz, if you could switch off. Yeah, now it's switched off. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying that, we look at the India-Bangladesh relationship as a role model, in fact, of good neighborly relations and a top priority to it. The recent visit of Foreign Secretary of India and his extremely fruitful engagements are a testament to that. We know that every aspect of our relationship is successfully dealt with through a large number of joint mechanisms, close to 90 mechanisms, including high-tech areas such as space, IT, electronics, cyber security, civil nuclear energy, exist between our two countries. We know that unprecedented COVID pandemic has demonstrated not only our interconnections and interdependence, but also our fragility. Cooperation and collaboration must be a leading principles now, much more than ever before. It demands decisive, concerted and innovative action from all of us. Right now is the time for two close neighbors like India and Bangladesh to collaborate to find holistic solution on everything from health, agriculture, science, technology to business, trade, the entire gamut that exists. Friends, as you know, Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla was in Dhaka till yesterday afternoon. I accompanied Foreign Secretary for his meeting with Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. As you're aware, she has not met anybody from abroad and very few, even in the country over the past few months. We are therefore extremely privileged to have had the opportunity to call on her. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina greatly appreciated the gesture of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in sending Foreign Secretary to touch base at this crucial time of the COVID pandemic. The main messages that were conveyed was to see how India and Bangladesh can take the relationship forward, particularly our development partnership, our economic relationship in a post-COVID economic recovery phase. As would be expected, enhancing connectivity, revival of the economy, post-COVID cooperation in dealing with the pandemic, including on therapeutics and vaccine, development partnership, joint commemoration of 50th anniversary of Liberation War of Bangladesh, and 50 years of India-Bangladesh diplomatic relations were some of the subjects which we have discussed. As you would have seen, we have made a proposal for air travel bubble between India and Bangladesh. This would be extremely helpful for business people and people who need medical treatment in India to travel without the difficulties they are facing at present because we don't have the enough number of flights. As business people, I'm sure you all are anxiously looking at the possibility of travel to start between our two countries and to resume smoothly as the pandemic is slowly brought under control. Air bubble between our two countries will allow that, so we are working on that. There is no doubt that COVID-19 has challenged global businesses as never before. But at the same time, this has also brought us an opportunity to have a closer look at critical supply chain components, interdependencies, and improve on our economic efficiencies. I'm happy to convey that both India and Bangladesh have come forward to tackle these obstacles and ease businesses even in these challenging times. Some of the specific initiatives you are aware of, people have spoken about the train links. The 4 existing train links are being used: Petrapol, Benapol, Radhikapul, Birol, Gede Darshana and Rohanpur Singhabad. These have emerged as a critical infrastructure for trade during the pandemic period. Starting from May till mid-August, as many as 325 freight trains loaded with essential and industrial commodities have arrived in Bangladesh. Railways have also started operating what is called the parcel van service and side door container. This has been of great value to smaller people, traders who import and export in very small numbers. The quantities are smaller and who really don't need a full rake or even a mini rake. In a significant move in creating supply chains that aren't vulnerable to disruptions such as this is a very significant movement. In particular, I'm pleased that we have been able to move ahead on this initiative in the midst of the pandemic. You are also aware that in addition to the 4 existing railway links, we are working on revival of 2 more existing links, one at Chilahati, Holdibari. This will give a connection straight. Once all the lines are done, it will technically take you from Mongla to Shiliguri. And Shahbazpur, Mahisasan, which also gives you link from, Dhaka, Sylhet up to Shahbazpur, Mahisasan line up to Karimganj in Assam. The other line, which is a completely new line, which we are doing under a grant project, is the Agartala-Akhoda line. This also is a great connectivity project, which gives connection to the Northeast and also, eventually allow business people to look at the ports. The use of railways is been hygienic under the COVID situation, when all of us have to be careful about social distancing. It has also been a much faster and an economic mode of transport. You know that commodities from us as far as Maharashtra and Gujarat are now getting delivered in a matter of few days to Benapur. Now, this is, the textile and yarn has started coming in containerized, in containers by railway. 4 such consignments have already come. So, since textile and yarn is a very, very important raw material for the RMG sector, we are cutting short the time of this important raw material which goes into as an input into the RMG sector by several days. I would say perhaps by months. The earlier the time period was a month. Now it is coming in 4 to 5 days. So I think this is something which can be a complete game changer. And since there are several presidents of several chambers present at this, I would encourage you to please request the RMG sector to seriously look at this. We'll also try and do a separate webinar with the BGMEA at some point, with the Concor representatives who are running the containerized traffic for us. As you are aware, land borders between India and Bangladesh were initially disrupted due to COVID crisis, but I'm happy to share that almost all land ports have now opened up. The last one to open was Doki Tamabil, and I believe that since earlier this week, Doki Tamabil traffic has also started. I couldn't quite hear what Mr. Mahbubul Alam was saying, but I thought he mentioned something about land ports, and it will be very useful to get a copy of his presentation, because I thought he made a couple of very concrete suggestions. Just want to know that, as far as India is concerned, from the land port, for you all to export to India, there is no restriction. Every product is allowed from every land port, but there are restrictions on part of India to Indian products from coming in. But we have been very successful in handling, in talking to NBR and getting many of these restrictions removed, particularly in case of Tripura, which was looking at access of more commodities to the Bangladesh market. Coming to waterways, we've already heard how much work we've done on the waterways, the new additions which have been made to the protocol. We are looking forward to a trial run very soon on the Gomti river stretch. Hope this can be done. The trial runs are very helpful in identifying the small nitty-gritty issues which can come up when the service is regularized. You've heard about the use of the first trial run between for use of Chattogram port. It is absolutely again a very big opportunity for Bangladesh to earn revenue as the cargo transit, the cargo moves through Bangladeshi trucks. Plus, there is the administrative port-related charges, etc., that accrue to Bangladesh. Once the full potential of these connectivity projects is realized, we feel that cities like Narayanganj, Shirajganj, Khulna, Mongla, Chilmari in Bangladesh, and places like Pandu, Shonamura, Karimganj, Dhubri, Shilghat in India will witness significant economic transformation. I am absolutely certain that with all these new developments and connectivity projects which are coming up, Bangladesh will emerge as a major transport and logistics hub. And as we always say, we look at Bangladesh also as sort of a launching ground for our Act East policy, because that's the connectivity to the ASEAN as well. We have seen a significant increase in trade. Bangladesh's trade to India, Bangladesh's exports to India crossed the important 1 billion mark last year. The increase was as much as 42.91% in the financial year 2018-19. Japan and India are perhaps the only two Asian countries where Bangladesh has more than 1 billion exports. We are very happy about this, and we feel that the more connectivity we have, the more such products can be explored. India, as you know, has already opened its huge market of 1.3 billion people to Bangladesh under SAFTA, wherein duty-free, quota-free benefits are provided to Bangladesh exports on 100% tariff lines. The trade is done on the basis of a negative list, and only 25 narcotic and tobacco items are outside this tariff line. And this SAFTA facility has been available since 2011. Nihad Kabir spoke about containerized cargo movement through India to third countries. I think that's a very good suggestion, and I would urge the chambers to please explore this seriously. We have actually already started looking at it. I think there are some technical issues on this. There's some certification, etc., which is required. But I think a little bit of conversation between the chambers and our people will be very helpful. This is something which we would definitely be very keen to facilitate. But let's see, because this is all such forward-looking thinking. We are taking 10 steps which would have normally taken a couple of months in about a couple of days. But thank you for the suggestion, and I think we should really work on this. We are also, I would like to inform you, we are also upgrading some of our land port stations. There are 7 stations on the India-Bangladesh border which will be coming up for, upgradation. And the most important, Benapole Petrapole is coming up for upgradation. We are building a very good state-of-the-art terminal there, and which will help both passenger traffic as well as cargo. We have been working very closely with Ministry of Commerce, National Board of Revenue, Ministry of Shipping, government and various other wings of the government of Bangladesh, and business chambers and bodies such as ABCCI, MCCI, IBCCI, CCCI, to facilitate bilateral trade. And I must thank all of you for your cooperation and for really pushing the boundaries as we explore more opportunity. I should also, NBR is very important in this whole equation, and we've been really, we would like to thank them for their cooperation. I was mentioning about the additional items which can now come from Tripura, and this was also done last year. The Northeast is actually, the proximity of Bangladesh to Northeast needs to be leveraged much more. I think it is, the potential is there, but I don't think that leveraging has to be done. But with the kind of connectivity which is coming up and the projects which are in the pipeline, once those are executed, I think we will have the business people such as yourselves will see how much how you will be able to then really use all these connections that we have, both through road as well as railways and the waterways. You know that to further strengthen our economic partnership and to raise it further, both governments have commissioned a joint study on the bilateral comprehensive economic partnership agreement. We are certain that once the study is completed, we can go forward and, we would like to for signing of a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which will also be the first CPA for Bangladesh. I am also confident that eventually, we are working on the 2 Indian economic zones which are coming up in Miresharai and Mongla, and this will attract Indian investments. And we have already identified in other webinars the various joint venture possibilities where, I think the top comes with food processing, agriculture, light engineering, and pharmaceutical. I think these are sectors on which we should seriously look at. And I once again congratulate IBCCI for organizing this dialogue. May I also thank all the other chambers for their participation. We always look forward to our interaction with all of you. And I would like to very sincerely thank Honorable Minister His Excellency Tipu Munshi for his presence today, and also for his tremendous help in getting keeping the supply chains running and having this the various achievements that we are quite proud of that we've done throughout the COVID period. I think it would not have been possible without his guidance, support, and constant encouragement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rivaji. It was excellent. Actually, I was looking for a key note paper. So your one can perhaps fill that up. And of course, Mahbub will send his paper in, and so perhaps you could also lend your paper out to IBCCI and we can take it as a guide. Now I'll have to come to our youngest president, IBCCI, President Mr. Sheikh Fazle Fahim. Here you have thrown a huge amount of data to him as a guide, and let us see how Sheikh Fahim will respond to your suggestions and guide the entire business community towards a greater connectivity between Bangladesh and India. Sheikh Fahim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Matlub Bhai. Honorable Tipu Munshi, MP, Honorable Minister of Commerce, Government of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, Madam High Commissioner, Mr. Nurul Alam, Member Finance, BIWTA, Nihat Kabir, President MCCI, Mahbub Alam, President Chittagong Chamber of Commerce and Industries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to you all. Before I start, I should say maybe before Riba Appa leaves for a new assignment, part of her magic wand, if she leaves with me, maybe we'll be able to perform a little better. It is a pleasure to join today's talk on connectivity for growth, prosperity and development. On behalf of the Umbrella Trade Organization of Bangladesh, we thank the High Commissioner of India for their continued support towards Bangladesh and IBCCI for this important initiative today. Esteemed presence, India and Bangladesh's long proven relations have been marked by history, humanity, heritage and dynamic partnership. There are no two countries that are bonded together like ours. Both our nations' leadership shared values, but their constituent sustainable growth is a reflection of our bilateral relations today. Through our corresponding initiative to support and mitigate COVID-19 crisis. COVID-19 has seen rail and water connectivity emerge as innovative trade logistics, redefining bilateral connectivity at competitive and lower carbon footprint. Cargo movements through the existing 4 railway links at Petropol, Benapol, Radhika Radhe Darshan, and Rohanpur, Singhabad have helped trade when land ports were closed. With introduction of parcel train service and side door container trains for value-added goods in addition to BC and wagons. This has helped SMEs, as Excellency already shared. Furthermore, since May this year, 300 plus freight trains have transported essential commodities to Bangladesh. India's first container train carried products to Bangladesh this year, opening up further trade movement by rail routes. Indian Rail also brought in commodities before the month of Ramadan, which helped us to keep our market stable during the holy month. 2 railway line projects that are expected to reach completion in 2021, Kalura and Shahbazur rail line and Akor Agartala, will further facilitate connectivity between Bangladesh and Northeast India. Enhanced water connectivity enabled by the second addendum to protocol on inland water waste trade and transit IWTT that included 2 additional routes between Sonamura, Dautandi and Rajshahi, Godapur, Dhulian, with extensions up to Aricha and 5 additional ports of call, will contribute to enhanced connectivity. As a result of consignments from Kolkata reached Bangab successfully in a span of 7 days. The first trial of movement of transit cargo under the agreement of the use of Chattogram and Mongla ports was successfully conducted in July 2020. The renewed coastal shipping agreement allowing transshipment of Indian goods via Chattogram and Mongla seaports have contributed to trade simplification and movement of goods to Northeast India. On air linkage, we hope that the bilateral air bubble under discussion will soon reopen travel for business, official, and medical purposes. India is currently negotiating an air bubble with 12 other countries. An established agreement with US, UK, France, Germany, UAE, Qatar, and Maldives. We also appreciate India's move to simplify travel requirements. All restrictions on existing land ports is lifted in a phased manner, starting with Agartala and Danga, Omra land ports. Although 80% of our bilateral trade moved through land routes, reaching the next tier of multimodal connectivity through air, rail, and water will also complement the bilateral value chain initiative with Indian raw material input manufactured in Bangladesh in areas such as automobile industry components, light engineering, agro-processing, apparel, chemicals, etc. through joint venture or on royalty basis. In addition to backward linkage from India for our domestic market, export to India and beyond. Such BVCI is applicable in startup ecosystem, innovation skills, quantum computing, one synchrotron that is exclusive to South Asia, cybersecurity, etc. As we move towards economic recovery and explore out-of-the-box initiatives to jointly tackle supply chain disruptions and resume bilateral trade and investment flow, connectivity bears major precedence in post-COVID scenario. There are certain issues which we may jointly examine to improve connectivity in all aspects. For instance, permit for transshipment of Bangladeshi cargo from Indian ports, Visakhapatnam and Haldia, including third country cargo for both export and import, to realign our connective priorities to benefit bilateral trade and beyond. Currently, the India-Bangladesh Coastal Shipment Agreement covers only origin-destination cargo between the two neighboring countries. Since the local vessels cannot carry a third country's goods, the international mainline operators, the MLOs like Mars, etc., that carry goods from US, EU, and other countries do not unload Bangladeshi-bound goods at the Indian ports. Rather, MLOs take the Bangladeshi-bound goods to other transshipment hub ports like Colombo or Kelang, where the lead time to Bangladesh is longer. Furthermore, containers coming by shipping lines drop Indian containers at Krishna and carry Bangladesh-bound containers again to Singapore for transshipment to Chattogram. A study was conducted by BFTI last year to assess the viability and cost effectiveness of the third country transshipment. Moreover, improved and integrated infrastructure, uplifting the restriction on size of containers, and vessel movement along the agreed routes will also work to facilitate in global trade logistics. It is also important to understand the strategic role of a visible public-private partnership to include the local chambers and associations who are FBCCI members associated with EXIM, with India and beyond, located along the border and connectivity routes to maximize effective multimodal connectivity. We hope today's dialogue will address some of these issues and be engaged in the future as well with stakeholders. Our bilateral connectivity should look beyond bilateral trade to include global trade logistics. With that note, FBCCI is always at the disposal of and waiting on any study that adds value to our bilateral trade, culture, commerce, sports, and overall human relationship. Thank you for having FBCCI at this very important dialogue.
Thank you, Sheikh Fahim. Thank you very much. A lot of points you have covered. I think you should perhaps exchange note with Her Excellency and show her that we also mean business. Now I come to our final speaker, His Excellency Tipu Munshi MPG, our Honorable Commerce Minister, a big and prosperous businessman, honest businessman, and a man who has visions and who has steered the business group from this COVID-19 into a, I would say, converting the huge problems into opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, we now would like to hear from our chief guest, His Excellency Tipu Munshi. Sir, আপনার।
থ্যাংক ইউ মতলুব ভাই। আপনার উপস্থাপনায় আমরা এখানে কথা বলতে পারছি। আমাদের মাঝে উপস্থিত রয়েছেন হার এক্সেলেন্সি ইন্ডিয়ান হাই কমিশনার আমাদের রিভা গাঙ্গুলি দাস, যার কথা একটু আগে শুনলাম। আমাদের ব্যবসায়ী নেতৃবৃন্দ রয়েছেন ফাহিম, ফজলে ফাহিম, নিহাদ কবির, তারপর আমাদের চট্টগ্রামের মাহবুব সাহেব এবং বিআইডব্লিউটি যিনি ফাইন্যান্স মেম্বার তিনি, এবং অন্যান্য অনেকেই যারা সংযুক্ত হয়েছেন আমাদের সাথে, অনেকেরই মাঝে মাঝে দেখতে পাচ্ছি সবাইকে। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আমি একটু শুরুতে বলতে চাই যে মাসটা আমাদের অগাস্ট মাস, আমাদের জাতির জনককে হত্যা করা হয়েছিল এই মাসে। শুরুতে তার বিধিযাত্রা, তার পরিবারের প্রতি শ্রদ্ধা জানিয়ে আমি কিছুটা কথা বলতে চাই। আজকে বক্তব্য যেটা দেওয়া হয়েছে হেডলাইন, কানেক্টিভিটি ফর গ্রোথ, প্রসপারিটি অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট। তার মানে তিনটা কথা, গ্রোথ, প্রসপারিটি অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট, এর জন্য আমাদের কানেক্টিভিটি থাকা দরকার। কানেক্টিভিটি ইজ ভেরি মাচ রিকোয়ার্ড ফর দ্যাট। আর আজকের পৃথিবীতে এই কানেক্টিভিটি ছাড়া, এই যোগাযোগ ব্যবস্থার উন্নতি ছাড়া হাউ টু প্রোগ্রেস, তো উই নিড দ্যাট। তো যার জন্য আমরা আজকে আলোচনা সবার কথাতে একটা কথাই আসছে যে এই রোড, রেল, প্লেন বা নৌপথ, এইসব কানেক্টিভিটির মাধ্যমে আমরা আমাদের উন্নয়নটা কেমন করে করতে পারি, হাউ টু মেক আওয়ার কান্ট্রিজ ডেভেলপ কান্ট্রি। সো সেই জন্য আজকে আলোচনা। আমরা এই একটু আগে যে কথা আসছিল ঘুরে ফিরে, এই দুঃসময় যখন বেনাপোল বন্ধ হয়ে গেল, বিভিন্ন কারণে আসছিল না, ট্রেনের সমস্যা হচ্ছিল সত্যিকার অর্থে, তখন আমাদের এক্সেলেন্সি রিভা গাঙ্গুলি দাস যেভাবে পিছনে লেগেছিল, অলমোস্ট প্রতিদিন 2-3 বার করে আমার সাথে কথা হয়েছে। এমন দিন নাই যে আমরা এটা ফলো আপ করিনি, এবং এক একটা সাকসেস আমাদেরকে অত্যন্ত আনন্দিত করেছে। এবং ওনার সেই যে চেষ্টা, রিয়েলি আমি নিজেও খুবই উৎসাহিত করেছিলাম। এবং যখনই একটা করে সাকসেস এসেছে উনি ফোন করেছেন, আমাকে জানিয়েছেন, ফলো আপ করেছে। আই রিয়েলি অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট দ্যাট। এই সময় আমাদের জন্য খুব প্রয়োজন ছিল ছোট ছোট অনেক জিনিস। তো পাট বীজ আসছে, আরো কিছু আসছে যেটা বন্ধ হয়ে আসছে না, আমাদের জন্য ছিল ভীষণ জরুরি সেগুলো। পেঁয়াজ রওনা হয়েছে, আসতে পারছে না, পেঁয়াজের দরকার ছিল আমাদের, যেটা আমরা বিশাল পরিমাণে আমরা ভারত থেকে আসি। এই কানেক্টিভিটি যদি বন্ধ হয়ে যায় তাহলে তো আমাদের জন্য সবচেয়ে বড় বিপদ। আজকে ব্যবসায়ী নেতৃবৃন্দ কথা বলেছেন, বিভিন্ন সমস্যার কথাও বলা হয়েছে, আবার সমাধানের কথা আমরা বলেছি। আমরা এগিয়েছি অনেক পথ, আরো সামনের দিকে আগানো দরকার। যেসব রুটের কথা বলা হয়েছে, আমি নর্থ বেঙ্গলের মানুষ, সেখানেও আমাদের যে রুটগুলোর কথা, স্থল বন্দরের যেগুলো, চিলাহাটির কথা বললেন হার এক্সেলেন্সি, হলদিবাড়ির কথা, যে কাজ চলছে, খুব শীঘ্রই হয়তো সেটা আমাদের পোর্শন নেই, বাকি আছে, সেটাও হয়তো শুরু হয়ে যাবে। তারপর কয়েকদিন আগেও মাত্র আমরা দেখলাম যে আমাদের শুধুমাত্র ভারত নয়, রেলে নেপাল পর্যন্ত যাওয়ার একটা আইন পাশ হয়েছে আমাদের ক্যাবিনেটে। গতকালকেই আমরা একটা রোড পারমিশন করেছি, একসেপ্ট করেছি, যেটা রামগড় হয়ে ভারতের দিকে চলে গেছে। সেটা একটা রুট ডেভেলপ করবে, যেটা চিটাগং বন্দর থেকে কিন্তু ভারতের ওই অংশে, সেই পূর্বাঞ্চলে যাওয়ার সুবিধা হবে। এমনি করে সব ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু আমরা কানেক্টিভিটির কথা চিন্তা করছি। ভারত আমাদের বড় ট্রেডিং পার্টনার। ভারতের পক্ষ থেকে বরাবর বলা হয়েছে, সব ক্ষেত্রে বলা হয়েছে যে বাংলাদেশ আমাদের প্রতিবেশী দেশ, প্রতিবেশীদের সাথে সম্পর্ক উন্নয়নের কথা বলা হয়েছে। আরো একটা কথা বলা হয়েছে, যেটা আমি মাঝে মাঝেই বলি, তারা একটা কথা মেনশন করেছে যে সবার আগে বাংলাদেশ, তাদের ভাষায় সবসে পেলে বাংলাদেশ। আমরা কিন্তু সেটা ধরে নিয়েছি এবং আমরা আমাদের সব কার্যক্রমে কিন্তু সেটা বিশ্বাস করি। এই যে এই সময়ের মধ্যেও ভারতের সেক্রেটারি, ফরেন সেক্রেটারি এসেছেন, কথা বলেছেন 2 দিন, সব জায়গায় কথা বলেছেন, মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীর সাথে কথা বলেছেন। তো আমরা আশা করি যে আমাদের কানেক্টিভিটি ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট জন্য আমরা যতগুলো চেষ্টা করে চলেছি, এটা আমাদের উন্নতির জন্য, আমাদের ডেভেলপমেন্টের জন্য অত্যন্ত জরুরি। অনেক কথা বলা হয়েছে, আমরা শুধুমাত্র ভারত এই রিজিয়নের জন্য কিন্তু অনেকগুলা এগ্রিমেন্ট আমাদের আছে, সেটা আমরা সবাই জানি। যে যেসব রোড কানেকশনের কথা বলি, রেল কানেকশনের কথা বলি, তারপর অনেকগুলা পথও কিন্তু আমরা মানে নেওয়া হয়েছে, যেমন এশিয়ান হাইওয়ে নেটওয়ার্ক আছে আমাদের, তারপরে সাউথ এশিয়া সাব রিজিওনাল ইকোনমিক কোঅপারেশন সাসেক, যেটা রোড করিডোরস আছে, বাংলাদেশ, চায়না, ইন্ডিয়া, মায়ানমার, যেটাকে ইকোনমিক করিডোরের কথা বলা হয়েছে BCIM, যেমন বে অফ বেঙ্গল ইনিশিয়েটিভস ফর মাল্টি সেক্টরাল টেকনিক্যাল অ্যান্ড ইকোনমিক কোঅপারেশন, যেটাকে আমরা বিমস্টেক বলি, রোড করিডোর, শার্ক হাইওয়ে করিডোর, বাংলাদেশ, ভুটান, নেপাল, ইন্ডিয়া, যেটা রয়েছে ভেহিকেল এগ্রিমেন্ট BBIN, এই সব কিছুই করা হয়। যদিও এটা রিজিওনাল, কিন্তু এর প্রত্যেকটার ক্ষেত্রেই কিন্তু ভারতের সাথে, ভারতের মধ্যে দিয়েই আমাদের যাওয়া আসে। তো এই সব কিছু বিবেচনা করে আমরা মনে করি যে এই যে কানেক্টিভিটির কথা বলা হয়েছে, এটার দিকে আমাদের লক্ষ্য রেখেই এবং সব সময় আলোচনার মাধ্যমে, যেখানে যদি কখনো, যেমন এই কোভিডের সময় আমাদের হার এক্সেলেন্সি যেভাবে এগিয়ে এসছেন সমস্যাটার সমাধান করার জন্য, উনি 3 বছর পুরো না করেই আমাদের ছেড়ে চলে যাচ্ছে। আমাদের এখানে থাকলে পরে আরো কত যে সুবিধা হতো আমাদের কার্যক্রম, জানি না এখন সামনের দিনগুলো। আমি শুনেই খুব মর্মাহত হয়েছে যে সবচেয়ে মানে কি বলবো, আর উনি থাকলে আমাদের জন্য খুব ভালো হতো। তারপরেও জীবন তো এগোয় যেতে তো হবেই। এনিওয়ে, আমি যে কথা বলতে চাচ্ছি যে এই যে চেষ্টা উনি করেছেন, আমরা সবাই মিলে আমাদের এই কানেক্টিভিটিটার ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট দরকার। আর আমরা যে SDGর গোল ঠিক করেছি, এই সব যদি আমরা সাকসেসফুলি তা না করতে পারি, তাহলে সেই SDG গোল তো আমরা অ্যাচিভ করতে পারবো না। আমাদের সব দিকে বিবেচনা করেই আমাদের এই কানেক্টিভিটির কথা চিন্তা করতে হবে। এবং আজকের বক্তারা সবাই আমাদের অত্যন্ত সুন্দরভাবে বলেছেন। একটু ফিরে যেতে চাই, আমাদের মতলুব ভাই জানেন আমরা যখন গিয়েছিলাম ইস্টার্ন পার্ট অফ ইন্ডিয়া, গৌহাটি গিয়েছিলাম, তারপরে শিলং গিয়েছিলাম, সেখানকার সবারই কথা, তারাও এই ইমপ্রুভমেন্টের কথা বলছেন নৌপথে আমাদের ক্যারিং করতে দিতে হবে, সুবিধাটা দিতে হবে, যাতে করে তোমাদের এবং আমাদের দুই পক্ষেরই অনেক সুবিধা হবে। আমরা আমাদের বন্দরগুলো তারা ব্যবহার করতে পারবে, এবং যেটা আমাদের ব্রহ্মপুত্র দিয়ে যে রাস্তা, সেটা দিয়ে চালু হয়েছে রিসেন্টলি, তো আমরা বন্দরেও দেখেছি। তো সব দিকেই আমরা এগোচ্ছি। কানেক্টিভিটি নাও আমাদের, আমি যেটা মনে করি, যেটা আমাদের সবচেয়ে বেশি গুরুত্ব দিয়ে কাজ করতে হবে। আমি আর খুব বেশি সময় নিতে চাই না। আমার সবার প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা আমাকে সেই সুযোগ দেওয়ার জন্য। অত্যন্ত জ্ঞানী গুটি বক্তারা বক্তব্য রেখেছেন, আমরা তাদের কথা শুনেছি। আগামী দিনগুলোতে কাজ করতেও আমার জন্য সেটা গাইডলাইন হিসেবে কাজ করবে। থ্যাংকস অ্যাগেইন আপনাদের সবাই আমার কথা শোনার জন্য। ধন্যবাদ।
ধন্যবাদ মাননীয় মন্ত্রী, থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ ফর ইউর কাইন্ড ওয়ার্ডস এবং your visionary words. And I've seen you, how you excite people into new concepts and new ideas. Thank you for joining us. While Dr. Pramash will be, if he's there, he would give 3 takeaways from this webinar today. I'm going to give a declaration of the IBCCI Media Award 2020. Every year we are going to award 2 personnel of the media, and the award will be given at the end of the year. This year we're going to give 2 awards. So we will get, by November, we will get their applications, what they have done, what news coverage they have done, and we will then choose from there. We have a jury who will choose 2 of them, and in January 2021, if restrictions are over, they will be taken over to India for 5 nights and 5 days, and they will be visiting the large corporate bodies and also Chamber of Commerces, so that they can get the concept of the huge business opportunities between India and Bangladesh. So the award will be IBCCI Media Award yearly. So this year we'll have 2020 award. So I would now request Dr. Pramash to give us 3 takeaways from today's webinar. And Dr. Pramash, is a patron of our IBCCI, and he is heading the commercial division of the High Commission, and always very active. Thank you, Dr. Pramesh. Pramesh ji. Unmute. हो गया? नहीं हुआ. नहीं हुआ परमेश.
Am I audible, Matlub bhai, now from here?
Yes, you are still audible. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Matlub bhai. Honorable Minister, sir, Her Excellency High Commissioner, ma'am, Fahim bhai, Madam Kabir, Matlub bhai, Mahbubul bhai. I've been very fortunate to say, sir, very least, because I've been able to work with the brightest and the most courageous minds of Bangladesh. I've been fortunate enough to work with every one of them very closely over the last 1.5 years. And with Matlub bhai, we have been organizing seminars in functions all the time. Fahim bhai I have a fortune to meet him also a few times. So today I was listening at the background, and a very stimulating discussions it was to hear everyone, to hear such well-learned discussions. So after hearing everything, my three key takeaways from today are, so first of all, as Fahim bhai said, Madam High Commissioner also mentioned, and Madam Jhat Kapil, she also mentioned that we should look forward to explore the opportunity, the new connectivity provided by the railways. So this opportunity provided by the railways could also be used for export of Bangladeshi cargo to the western ports of India, and from there onwards it can go directly to Europe. And if we see, sir, with this the timelines will be reduced to just like a month timeline can be reduced to just few days. So this is one of the very important key takeaway from today. Second thing is, we should also, as Madam Kabir has said earlier, and Fahim bhai, he always mentions that we should bring our people, bring our young minds together, especially the young leaders from both Bangladesh, business leaders from Bangladesh and India. So we will continue to look, having a discussion between the young entrepreneurs from India as well as young entrepreneurs from Bangladesh, because from these discussions only these new ideas always come up. And third, which is a very important subject, and I have learned a lot on this from my Madam High Commissioner, which she always mentions that the Northeast and Bangladesh, we are very close, the connectivity wise, culture wise, and for other things also. So the connectivity between the Northeast and Bangladesh, it should be leveraged. And as Fahim bhai said today, that we should not be looking only for this sub-region. We should be India and Bangladesh, it should be part of the global value chains. Like if we work together, probably the whole world, whole geography, whole map is our area of work. So we should continue working together on this subject. And with all your support, I will be troubling you, meeting you all the time for these discussions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pramesh ji. Thank you for your wisdom, and we will note those three takeaways. I have come to the end. I'm sorry I could not finish in 4 o'clock. I late by 16 minutes. But I thank our Honorable Minister to be all along with us. Thank you very much. I thank our Honorable High Commissioner ji to be with us, and of course Fahim and Nehad and all the speakers who are with us. We thank you very much. Because of you all, we can prosper. Because of you all, we have a future. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Stay well. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
कोड आप ये यूज कर सकते हैं कनेक्टिविटी कैन बी यूज्ड